that first event I came to, I actually went to was a speed networking event. You know what speed networking is? So imagine speed dating, except more uncomfortable. So the speed networking event, there's about 60 people there, all lined up inside this. There's an inner circle and an outer circle, and every 2 minutes we'd have to move and meet somebody new. And I was so worried about making a fool of myself and looking silly. So what I did is I just watched and observed, and right. So I learned from those kind of things. I watched a lot of like little short YouTube clips and videos with general information, but most of it I learned from trial and error. Most of it I learned from basically, how to say this, cringeworthy moments. Have any of you experienced cringeworthy moments where you just felt like, oh, I can't believe I said that. I'll just walk straight out, you know? And so I experienced a lot of those cringeworthy moments where I said and did things like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. But I kept at it because I saw the potential. When I got better, what I realized is that most people struggle with it because of one reason. We were never taught. We were just never taught. So networking is the one business skill that everyone is expected to know how to do, and yet we were never taught how to do it. In fact, in grade school, you guys fill in the blank for me. In grade school, they taught us something different. They said, don't talk to strangers. And now what are we expected to do? I see a problem. So here's what we're going to do today. What we're going to do today is I want to help you with a couple things. So 2 things really. I want to help overcome a few myths about networking. And also to help you overcome your fear of networking. Is that cool? You heard answers anywhere from, like a 2 to 8, right? As far as like comfort level. But how many times do we walk into a room similar to this, and we think everyone's got it all together except for us? Anyone? Don't leave me hanging on this. Right? We walk in the room, we feel like everyone's got it together except for us. So the reason I do this, I want you to see that almost everyone struggles with the same fears. Almost everyone struggles with the same anxieties, but things we don't think that. So we end up putting ourselves down, and we're our harshest critic most times. But you look at what happens is that you all have visualization now of your next 5 years and where you want to be. So you're here now, and you want to get all the way over here. Now, how many of you, whatever your goal happens to be, somewhere between there and here, you need some people to help you along the way? Raise your hand. Whether it's ministry or business or work, we're all going to be interacting with people. We all need people. You see, sometimes I hear people say, well, I don't really need to network with what I do. Really? See, if people are involved between getting you from here to here, the networking is important to you. So what's keeping you from networking? We talked about it before. One is a lack of knowledge. We were just never taught these skills, but yet are expected to know how to do it. So what keeps us from it? Is fear. Go ahead and hit the next slide. Yeah, fear is good. So fear, right? So that's what's really keeping us from taking action. That's what's really keeping us from achieving our dream. And for most of us, if you look at it, we might think it's our dream, but our dream is really about impacting other people through what we're looking to accomplish. True? You'll rarely find that it's just you accomplish something and you're the only one that benefits from you accomplishing that thing. Most times, if you look at it, you're impacting people all around you. And so when I started learning how to network, at first it was just to learn how to build more business. That's just straight out truth. I wanted to learn how to network so I can make more sales. That's the number one reason why I wanted to learn how to network. But I learned something along the way. I learned that in the process of building that business, they end up building real relationships. They end up building real friendships. They end up building actual, true communities of people that want to help each other succeed in life, because we're all better off together. So I have an activity for you. Actually, go to the next slide. Next one. All right, so I wanted to share a little bit of the framework. So when I started, I told you I have to kind of figure things out and went through those cringe-worthy moments. There's one I'll share with you because you might want to know what a cringe-worthy moment is. So I'll share one with you. So cringe-worthy moment. I show up at an event. It was all young professionals. Most of them in attendance were in their early 20s, young professionals getting started in their business, getting started in sales. We're in a little circle, about maybe 80 people in the room. And I'm in this circle. They asked me, what do you do? And so I introduced myself. And I start telling them about my company and what I do. And they were all still looking at me, just like they look at me now. So I just kept talking. And I figured, so I kept talking. They're still looking at me. They're just being polite. But I kept talking. And I kept, what? Talking. And I kept talking. Until eventually, I don't know how long I was talking. You ever go into a time warp where you forget how long you're really talking for? So that was me. Until the gentleman across, they're all looking at me, and he just turns to the lady over here. And he says, hey, so what do you do for a living? And he just cut me off. I was like mid-sentence. So I just got cut off by people half my age, and I just felt so bad. Would that qualify as cringeworthy?
Yeah.
Anybody else have cringeworthy moments? Yeah. All right, come on up. Let me have you shoot. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going to do an activity, kind of break the ice. What I do is, first thing we're going to do is focus on mindset. So today we're going to focus a lot more on mindset. The reason I focus on mindset is because our activities are dictated by our mindset. You guys agree with that? Our activities are dictated by our mindset. So we're focusing on mindset today. The next two things on there, activity in person and activity online. So when you break it down, networking is not as complicated as it seems. It's really a matter of two things. It's a matter of what you do in person, live events, meeting face-to-face, shaking hands, greeting people, having coffee meetings, having those kind of things, personal connections. And the second thing is activity online. Now let me explain a little bit about the difference between the two and why they're both equally important. The reason why in-person interaction is so important is because when we meet somebody face-to-face, it builds a high level of trust. It builds a high level of trust when you could meet somebody, you could shake their hand, you could see what they're about. But what it doesn't offer, though, is frequency. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. You meet somebody here today. If you're not already part of this church, you meet somebody here today. What are the chances that you'll see that person again within the next month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Maybe not ever. Or you forgot about them, right? So what happens is that it builds trust, but there's low frequency. You don't see them that often. Think about even family members that we might like and we don't see them enough. Activity online is kind of the opposite of that. The activity online, you don't build a lot of trust from connecting with somebody online. Anyone has somebody send them a friend request, like, who is this? Maybe you say, who's this clown, or some other description after that. All right, so who is this? So online doesn't build a lot of trust. However, once you accept a connection request, how often are they in your newsfeed right in front of you? How often? How often? Every day, right? So what if we can blend the two and take the best of all worlds? What if we can meet people face to face and stay connected through social media? How many of you look at a post differently when it's somebody that you know versus somebody that you don't know? How many of you, when you see that, you can almost hear their voice as you read their post? How many of you really appreciate the good news that they're sharing about their kid graduating, or a new trick that their dog did, or something, whatever it is, right? Or what they had for lunch. So that's what happens when we have both of those, and that leads to a positive outcome. Some people network to be able to build those businesses like I was looking to do. Some are building a ministry. Some are authors or coaches, and they've got a message. They want to impact people. So that positive outcome is the result of these three things. So today we're going to focus on mindset. Here's an activity for you. How many are ready to get uncomfortable? How many know that it doesn't matter what your answer is, we're going to do it anyway? All right, so here's what this activity is. Here's our first activity, so activity number one. At networking events, it's not unusual for you to be called on to give an elevator speech. For those of you that don't know what an elevator speech, it's a 30 to 60 second commercial about who you are, what you do. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is what I do, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so, everyone's either stand up, we'll just kind of go row by row, and everyone will stand up and introduce themselves to the rest of the room. Now, here's the problem with that. So if I was sitting like dead center in the middle of the room and we went around and did this activity and, elevator speeches, I wouldn't hear anything this half of the room had to say. Does anyone want to guess why I didn't hear anything? What would I be doing? Yeah, practicing, figuring out what I'm going to say. I can see it in your eyes. I already lost some of you because there's a chance that you might be doing elevator speeches right now. Your laughter confirms it. All right. So I did my thing. So I got nervous. If you hooked up a heart rate monitor to me, you would know exactly how many people it was away from me because it would consistently get higher and higher as it got closer to me. And so I did my thing. My voice cracked just as I predicted. And I said my thing. And then right after that, everyone else has a chance to go here. But I still didn't hear anything you guys had to say. Why didn't I hear anything that you all had to say, even though I already spoke? What happens? Yeah. Self-evaluation, self-critique. How did I do? Oh man, I forgot the best part. I practiced this in the car. I can't believe it. I wonder if I can go over again, right? So all those things are going through our head. So out of this activity, where we spent 30, 45 minutes introducing ourselves at this networking event, I didn't hear anybody. Am I the only one doing this? Who else is doing this? Everybody. See why the myth about networking doesn't work? It's not networking doesn't work, it's people just doing it wrong. Why? Because they were never what? They were never taught. So I'm gonna break this for you right now. So everybody stand up. Everyone stand up to your feet. This is gonna be a lot of fun for me watching you guys. All right, here's what you're gonna do. Don't look at me anymore. Look somewhere across the room and make eye contact with somebody you don't know. Make eye contact with somebody you don't know, and I want you to lock in with them for about 30 seconds. All right, I want you to lock eye to eye with them about 30 seconds. I don't care, you can make faces at them, you can nod at each other, you can wave, whatever. Yes, extremely uncomfortable for you, but fun for me to watch. All right, so everybody paired up? Everyone found somebody? If anybody not paired up yet, hold your hand up. I gotta make sure everyone's paired up. Who still hasn't found somebody? All right, I got one in the back and one up front here. All right, over here. Who's in the back? Okay, raise your hand if you're still not paired up. All right, everyone paired up? Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. Go ahead and go closer to that person and stand right across from them in normal speaking distance, okay? Normal speaking distance.
You won the stare game.
All right, here's what you're gonna do next.
Cool.
You're gonna introduce yourselves to each other. You're gonna learn the other person's name, first and last name, including proper pronunciation. Some of you are gonna have an easier job than others. Okay, so you're gonna get their first and last name. So what's the first thing you're gonna get to know about them? First and last name. Second, what you're gonna do is you're gonna learn about them professionally, or if they're a student, or where they work, or what their business is. And go a little bit deeper than just what it is, but learn a little bit about that, like something like, why they started in that field, what they like about it, how long they've been doing that for. So just go one or two more questions besides just like, oh, I'm a real estate investor, or I'm a pharmaceutical rep, or whatever it is. So go beyond that, ask them little details on that. So number 2 is professional, okay? So first thing is name. Number 2 is learn about them professionally. Number 3, I want you to learn about your new best friend today, something personal, fun fact. So here's what a fun fact is. Anything not work related. It could be a hobby that they have. It could be where they grew up, where they went to school. It could be something about their family, pets they have, something interesting that just happened to them. Anything that is not work related. You guys got it? All right, so number 1 is what? Number 2, professional. Number 3, personal. All right, so you're gonna have about 5 minutes for this activity. So about 2.5 minutes per side. So I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and monitor your own time to make sure that you give the other person a chance to speak. Now, after this, it's about 2.5 minutes each. And then, so after this, I may call on a couple of you to introduce your new best friend to the rest of us, because you shouldn't be the only one that gets to know him. Got it? So I might call on a couple of you to share your new best friend with us. One final instruction. You are not allowed to write anything down during this activity. All right, your 5 minutes begins. Go ahead and start. Go. So we're dealt 5 cards. Out of the 5 cards, what do we do with it? We hold it real close to us. We pretend and try to psych other people out, make them think we have a better hand than we really do. You see any parallels with business and in life? We try to make other people believe that we have a better hand than we really do. And what is everyone else at the table doing? The same thing. So if we were to go to Las Vegas as non-professional poker players and sat down at the table, we would get our butts handed to us because they're just professionals. They know what they're doing. But let's just say that Rob and I are join the table, and instead of us playing all individually, I'm like, man, I'm tired of it. Hey, Rob, what'd you get? And he shows me his cards. I show him my cards, right? And then so I'm like, here, let's do this. So I give him a 2 and a 3. He already has a 4, 5, and 6. So what does he have now? A straight. What good is a 2 and a 3? That's like 2 of the lowest cards in the whole deck. But to him, is it more important to have that 2 and a 3? Now he has to discard 2 because you can't have 7 cards. You get caught. No, so, so you got to get rid of 2. So he gives me 2 diamonds. I already have 3 diamonds, and the 2 diamonds he gives me a what? A flush. So networking is like poker. Traditionally, people are just trying to play their own hand. But when we have the right mindset, we understand that everyone has needs in this room. Everyone we encounter does not have a perfect hand. Most people will want to change some of those cards. And then the more people play, so Rob and I, what happens at the table now? We're winning. We are winning now. And other people want to say, how are you guys winning? How you guys win almost every hand? We say, we've been trading cards. You guys don't do that. Yeah. And so somebody else says, well, how do I get in? I want in the club. You're in. Now with 3 of us exchanging cards, you think all 3 of us have a better chance of getting better hands than everybody else at the table? Can we get a 4th to join? A 5th? That one final person that's holding out because they think they want to do it themselves. Eventually, they're going to join. Now, when all of us are joining, we've changed the rules of the game to where we're competing against one another. So now we're collaborating. We're working together. We're utilizing all the resources that we have as a community to build each other up, rather than worrying about our own individual problems. Next slide, please. You have 10 categories. You have 5 on each side of the page. Your goal is to find somebody in this room that fits one of those categories. You have exactly 6 minutes to complete this activity. You are free to get up out of your chairs to complete this activity, and your 6 minutes begins now. Go.
While you're here, any of these husband? My dad's I started.
Next thing I want you to write down, networking is like fishing. Networking is like fishing. And I'm going to share the story with you. Networking is like fishing. When we start off networking, it looks a lot like spearfishing. Anybody seen those old videos where they have that javelin spear and they got to stab the fish and they see the water and they, right? It takes a lot of skill, and it also takes a lot of luck. Luck being that the fish have to be right in front of you. You don't have a huge range when you're trying to throw a spear at a fish. But you also have to be extremely skilled to be able to catch them. So we catch 1 or 2 fish every day, every couple of days with this method. After a while, we're like, this takes way too long. What if I just throw a net like you see on the screen? Let's just throw a big net out there into the river, and then all the fish that pass by get caught in this net. And so instead of catching 1 or 2, we're catching 100 fish now in this net. Now, our family can't eat 100 fish. So what do we do with the rest? We keep the 7 we like, and we throw 93 back in the water because we don't want to waste it. Next day, catch 7, keep the 7, we catch 100, keep the 7 light, throw 93 back. Next day, same thing, right? And then eventually, I run across Mike. We're walking down trail. He got smart. He did the same thing I did. He started spearfishing. They started using a net. And then, but I run across Mike on the trail, and I look at his basket, and the 7 fish that he keeps for his family are different from the 7 fish that my family likes. So what I do? I say, hey Mike, tell you what, tomorrow, man, I just threw a bunch of those back. I'm gonna bring those to you tomorrow. And he's like, cool. What happened to Mike? He just doubled his catch. But how much extra effort did it take? None. So is networking a waste of time? Or is it a more efficient way to do things? So I do that, and eventually, Mike's going to say, Chris, I got some of yours too. So he goes and brings mine. But here's what I want to get across. Is that if we all start doing this, I only gave away 7. I got 93 minus 7. I got to do math. I shouldn't have done that. The 86. I got 86 left in my net. What if I just start walking around? I say, hey Lisa, you need anything? You need anything? You need anything? You need anything? I'm gonna throw these back. You need any of these? So I become a resource. I start serving people without expecting anything in return. Now there may be a day that I don't get to come out and fish because maybe I'm sick. Does that happen? Where you might be in need someday. And do you want to be in a position to where you've already served? Or to where you're going around? Hey, do you happen to have any fish? Empty basket, right? You have any fish? Any fish? Fish anyone? Any spare fish? Spare fish? Spare fish? How many people are going to give into that spare fish basket? Probably no one, even if they have it. And that's what it looks like when you ask without serving first. So when you serve first, what happens is you're actually increasing your influence. So in business, in ministry, whatever you're looking to accomplish, the influence has to grow first. The influence grows from serving first. Does that make sense? All right, next slide, and I'm going to wrap up.
The end of this presentation wasn't recorded, so I wanted to leave you with a feel for how I do end my presentations. Because networking is something that invokes a lot of fear with people, what I do is I like to close with a poem by Marianne Williamson called Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us, and it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated of our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to talking to you and learning more about your event. We'll talk soon. Bye.